Okay, welcome to Validated, Florida. This is our first episode we're going to do. Um, we're going to share our validated skiff with you. So, this skiff, as you've seen in some of our shorts, is a 14-foot Dixie skiff. Dixie is a company that was made in Winter Garden, Florida. They are no longer around, they haven't been for a long time. This thing is a 1985. Not sure if I mentioned that. Um, and it originally was a little fishing boat that had a rear seating section, a middle seating section with a little walkway, and then a front bow seating section, and then it was an open bow. So I had been looking forever to try to find something along these lines that had a pretty good dead rise on it and that just set in the water the way I was looking for something to sit. When it sits in the water, it's got that little drop nose, kind of speedboat looking, as you say. It's hard to find small skiffs with a drop nose on it, how the bow kind of drops down forward. But during COVID, I decided I was going to try to look for a boat, and this is what I came up with. I did a lot of Craigslist, Marketplace, eBay searching, and realized boats are just too damn expensive. I was not, this is before the price hike with COVID. I was unable, I mean, I just was not willing to fork out the cash people were wanting for these little boats. And, at the end of the day, I ended up finding this hull for 700 bucks. And it was quite the deal. I'll insert a photo now so you can see that. All right, so as you saw in that photo, that was the original Craigslist ad. Don't ask me why I screenshotted it and still have the photo. I have no idea. I just love the look of this hull. We found this thing in Claremont, Florida, and this thing was just sitting on a trailer. Me and my wife, now wife, went to go pick it up, and the guy had just a sea of boats. I mean, custom boats that were up near $1 million in his shed. He was a custom boat builder, all the way down to this little beat up Dixie boat, and we ended up getting it from him. Brought it home. It made it home on the dry rotted tires and wheel bearings, and I mean, we were doing 75 miles an hour on the way back with this thing, just hoping it would make it, and it made it. But ultimately, it turned out absolutely awesome. I'm gonna have, like I said, a bunch of photos that I'll insert at the end of the video. No need to really talk you through how to build it or how I built it. Something you will see is I did use marine ply. And the reason is, during COVID, I originally planned on using Coosa and Divinycell, got a combination of the both, if not just Coosa. But everything spiked in price so much that it just became unobtainable during COVID. I mean, it was like, you guys know, it was hundreds of dollars a sheet for that stuff. And it just wasn't worth it in the end. We pretty much tried to do this thing for under $5,000. Basically have a brand new boat for $5,000. And I definitely, the only thing I will say is, when I grab the camera in a little while and do some close-ups and show you guys, I'll show you my mess ups. It's okay. I can always go back and fix them, but they're so minuscule that I just don't see a need to right now. But I did run out of time kind of at the end and kind of blitzed it to try to get it done. COVID had kind of not subsided, but here in Florida, you guys know COVID didn't last too long. But ultimately, I could have done some more fairing. For you guys that don't know boats, just smooth stuff out, make it a little more perfect on the eye. But hey, from 10 feet, it's a gem. If you saw this thing floating in the water, idling through a canal, you'd be like, that's a pretty nice little skiff. They must wonder where they got that. They probably paid good money for it. But lo and behold, it was a $700 haul, including with the trailer. But anyway, I can give you a brief rundown before we grab the camera and start showing you the close-ups. From right here forward, so there's a front bulkhead. So you have your bulkhead here. Then there's another one that separates the fuel tank from the front. This is all storage right here. There's a false floor that's removable. So this whole thing under here all the way down is storage. This here, I have a recessed 13-gallon fuel tank. All the plumbing is ran via underfloor plumbing, so there's no lines to step on or anything like that. I made sure to run some conduit, obviously with water drains and all that stuff, under the floor through the stringers. And yeah, I got a 13-gallon tank up here. It sits pretty much right here, between here and here. The top deck and about right here where the gunnel kind of cuts under is basically how tall that fuel tank is. The tank is removable if I remove the hatch. So God forbid something happens to the tank, I don't have to do a bunch of cutting and ruin my deck. All I got to do is unscrew this hatch here and basically run a razor blade around the caulking and pull that hatch out, and then I can slide the fuel tank out. I do have some life jackets in there right now. They normally go up front. Me and the wife went out in this thing, and it was pretty chilly in the morning, so we brought a bunch of blankets and jackets to fill up the front. But anyway, I got rod holders here. Like I said, I'll grab the camera and do some close-ups for you guys. Made some custom mounts here for the gunnel to hold the backside of the rods. So these are removable. I could replace them if they ever went bad. I did a recessed female, basically like a nut system in here to where you just screw it in and it holds everything rock solid. And then over here, I have storage as well as the bus bar, battery switch, and it's more of a battery compartment, but there's a lot more room in here than just for a battery. And then this side is just purely for storage. I got tackle in here, my heat gun for the checking the hub temperatures when we're going on long drives. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. Paper towels, fire extinguisher, you know, all the legal stuff. I do have an open hole back here in the deck. I do have a cap for it. I just don't really see a need to use the cap. It's where my bilge pump is and where the conduit comes out for all the wiring to these under deck lights right here. I got some blue under deck lights. But other than that, like I said, this thing was a bare shell. You'll see at the end of the video when I put that video or a photo montage up, it used to be like a teal greenish color. It didn't weigh very much, so I was able to use I built this thing in my friend's shop. Shout out to Paul. Thank you. Wouldn't have been able to do it without him. He was a huge help. They had a forklift at his shop, so I was able to drag this thing over to the grass, pick it up, drag it off the trailer, flip it, get it up onto the forks, put it back on the trailer, and paint this thing. So I was able to get some bracing in so the hull didn't, you know, contort or nut or anything like that while I was building it. But I was able to get it painted. I ended up painting it like a battleship gloss gray. I think it turned out pretty cool. Looks good. It's definitely different. I got to get some sort of validated decal or logo probably back here. If you guys think that would be cool, let me know. A little circle validated Florida there. But yeah, this thing is a lake machine, a flats machine. Me and my friend Paul are hopefully going to do some shallow water spearfishing. We used to go to the Keys quite a bit. Life changes, so you don't get to go as often. A good friend of ours, Captain Luke, and his family live down there, and don't get to see them as much, unfortunately. But hopefully, when they move up a little closer, we can get Captain Luke out doing some spearfishing. He has a channel called Ocean Ethos where they show you some awesome spearfishing footage. They're shooting huge wahoo and stuff like that, 100 feet down. I mean, it's crazy. All free diving, done in the Keys. He's got some really talented friends and other captains he goes out with. But anyway, check him out, Ocean Ethos on YouTube. But other than that, that's about it. So this is the Dixie Skiff. Oh, I did forget one of the most important parts, and that is our beloved Johnson outboard. Uh, Believe it or not, I have this is a 50. So I got a really good deal on this from a very good friend of mine, Sam. Shout out, Sam. Thank you. I was looking for motors, and I mean, hell, a motor would cost what I got into the boat to build the boat. So I was shopping around, and everybody wanted an arm and a leg for their old two-stroke. You know how it goes. And my friend Sam got a hold of a boat he was building, and it's I think it's like an 18-foot Maverick or something. It's done now. He ended up putting a 115 Merc on it, pretty new motor. And he had this. This is what came on it. Was this 50 Johnson? I think it's a 94. And it runs great. I mean, I literally, it was winterized before it was ever put up before my buddy Sam got it. And he said, I don't know what you got to do to get it running, but he gave me a crazy good deal on it. So I grabbed it. And it is more than enough power for this boat. With just me in it and about a half to a little less than a half tank of fuel on GPS, I had it at 43 miles an hour. That's moving. That was moving, and it stayed there and held. It wasn't like I hit 43 and it dropped back down to 39. It held 43 and it was just skating. I mean, it was fun. It's really cool. The only next thing I got to get, I didn't think I was going to need one, but I am going to get an on-the-fly jack plate. I'm trying to keep this boat as bare bones as possible, and as few electronics as I can. The only electronics we have are navigation lights, bilge pump, and the under deck lighting here, and then obviously the motor's electric start. I'll show you my little key panel with my switches there. But I will get an on-the-fly jack plate. They got the little corkscrew mechanism. Really cool stuff. You definitely get what you pay for. They're made in America. On the fly, if you're listening, Validated Florida needs one. We need one of the big daddies that can hold the 230 pounds. Let us know. We'll get one from you. But anyway, yeah. So that's our 50 Johnson. She just won't quit. As soon as she quits, we'll get something newer. But it just won't quit. It won't die. Never say die to the Johnsons. Yeah, we're going to grab the camera, do some little close-ups, show you the little ins and outs of the boat, and we'll go from there. All right, so as I said, we're going to show you some hatches on this thing. And you can see I got my nav light here. Got some nice little recessed cleats here. They go flush, not going to hit your toe on them or anything. These are the hatches. This is the front hatch. As you can see, ton of storage. This here is our fuel line, so it comes out of a hole. Let's see if I can get you in there to show you. So it's all routed through there. Those are our rod holders. Purposely had them come through there just so I didn't poke anything with if we had any extra long rods. So the fuel line comes here and then goes right into the floor there, as you can see, into the conduit. But yeah, that's the front hatch. Ton of storage, as you can see. So that line there you see is our wiring for our nav light. But yeah, these hatches are great. I mean, they're not going to open up on you. You can try to pull on them, not till you pull that lever as it can open. So here's a blemish. Told you guys there's some blemishes. The router got away from me, so nothing major. I just, like I said, ran out of time and tried to hurry. But we'll go ahead and hop up in this thing for you. Show you this fuel tank. Once again, this hatch, it's got dual locking mechanism there, so now it's locked. Rock solid, not going anywhere. Unlock this thing, flip it open, and there's our fuel tank. So this is our 13-gallon fuel tank, and it is sitting crooked currently. It's not the screen. I have the strap system. Everything is loose, as you can see. I've been moving stuff around, planning on rewiring this thing. So I had to get into these little under gunnel lights there. But anyway, yeah. So fuel pickup tube here runs through this filter, wraps around the bow like I just showed you, comes in and goes whoop right under the floor, straight to the back of the motor. So thing turned out really good. I got a few life jackets in there now. The wife and I went out and it was a little cold, so as you saw in the front, you probably didn't even notice, but there's a little blankie right there. So it was a little cold, but these all shut, everything works good. Got another cleat on that side. These are those little under gunnel lights I was telling you about. So they I could show you now. They're pretty bright at night, which is nice. Kind of gives the boat a little more premium look if you get out and the sun's going down or before it comes up. So I'll insert a photo now so you can see what these look like. All right, so as you saw, they look real pretty at night. Very cool looking. But we got our rod holders here that go up into the bow, which you saw. I drilled a bunch of little micro holes in each one of them because they pass right through the fuel tank. The fuel tank hatch, rather. That way, just if for some reason my fuel tank vent that comes out outside the bow over there, kind of up under the gunnel, if that for some reason was to get clogged up or something and there was some fumes in there, they can be, you know, a little bit released out of here. But I've never once smelled fuel driving this thing, and we've been in some pretty rough stuff in it. But yeah, so we got our stick here. Got an extra little rod there. There's a couple rods. These are the rod mounting system that I came up with. So this is a piece of wood under here that I glassed over. And what's really cool about that is I actually took the wood, put it in hot water, created a form, and screwed it down into the form, which the form matched the gunnel here until it dried, and it held its shape perfect. Let it dry for like a week while I was working on other stuff, and laminated in epoxy like everything else, and then all of a sudden, voila, now I got a little female screw in there that bites in there. These are nice and soft. Took me a while to decide which one of these I wanted to use to hold the rods. This takes a lot of the vibration away because it is like a foam. It's made by Boat Buckle, and that's me bumping into my bilge pump, if you heard that. I guess I can show you these lights. Thought I had the battery off. So you can see lights pop up blue, off, on. Got one on this side, off, on. So everything works great as it's supposed to. This is my panel up out of the way. You see your cockpit lights, navigation lamps, and your bilge pump. So this is the one I bumped. You can hear the bilge pump going off. I did not put it on an auto float switch just because it's right there. It's easy access. I can see how much water's in the boat. I do have a cap that can go over that. That blends in with the floor, so all you would see is the black fuel line, but I just don't see a need to throw it in there. It's, you know, if I was ever to sell the boat, I could give it to them, but yeah, but that's about it. So there's our trusty turtle box. Shout out to Turtle Box. If you don't know what a turtle box is, you need to look them up because they're sick. They last forever. They're waterproof. Great company for nothing but good things. So anyway, moving forward, this is our battery hatch. So we got our battery switch, and there is everything there. So got our bilge coming up through here, shoots out the side, battery bin, plenty of room to store some stuff in there. This is another hatch, fire extinguisher, and there's just some tackle and random goodies in there. Some Dawn dish soap, that's mandatory. And this is the old Johnson 50. So it's been running good, nothing crazy, but that's our boat. Got a nice little pad here. This is where anyone who's riding on here with me, very soft pad. I mean, this thing is just killer for the bum. Got some stainless turnbuckles for the cooler. This thing ain't going nowhere, doesn't move an inch. But other than that, that's about it for the inside of the boat. It's pretty cool. Got the old Johnson. See if we can get out of this thing without taking a header. So that's the Johnson for you. Not a bad motor. Thing runs like a dream. Redid the transom. Oh, rock solid. don't want to hurt my hand here. Got some nice little hold downs. I mean, everything about this thing was just, it was awesome. I mean, the as you can see here, it's just the paint. Like I said, it's not showroom quality, but it's good enough for me. And it could be wet sanded. There's our fuel tank vent. It could be wet sanded and polished, but I just don't see a purpose for it. So, but anyway, that's our skiff. Check it out. We got a lot more coming for you guys. But yeah, we'll say some closing remarks and get out of here. All right, folks, that's a wrap. This is our first Validated Florida video. Wanted to show the skiff, show you anybody can do this with some simple hand tools and some time. You can learn a lot on YouTube. As you saw, it's not perfect. There's some blemishes here and there. Can I fix them? Yes. I don't really think it's necessary. Looks good enough for me. Plan on using the crap out of this thing. But it's, I mean, if you get a little boat like this, it's so cheap to run. I mean, 13 gallons of fuel, and that's it. Buy some bait, that's it. I mean, you're done. You know, you get one of these 25-footers, something crazy. I mean, you're hundreds of dollars in fuel a day if you're out running all day. Me and my wife, I mean, and this is an old motor. I mean, these new motors are way more, you know, fuel efficient. So if we were to get like a 30 Suzuki or something, 13 gallons, God almighty, that would last days. I mean, we ran this thing 2 weeks ago from 7 in the morning, and we maybe stopped for 2 or 3 hours total throughout the day. And we ran all day, motoring back in flats, running high speeds to different spots. We loaded the thing up at like almost 6 o'clock in the afternoon, barely burned over a half tank of fuel. That's awesome. I mean, that was nothing. That was just a great day on the water, and that's it. I mean, but you can do it cheap. You can find stuff already built. You know, we just want to show people that you can do it. You can do it for cheap. Not you know, I know boat stands for break out another 1,000, and it can if you buy some expensive boat. But if you're not in the position in life where you can do that, something like this will get you a long way. And I know not everybody can build a boat, but I think you'd be surprised at your abilities if you utilize what you have with YouTube and, you know, being able to find stuff, or maybe even somebody's old project they don't have time to finish, you know, that don't take long to get it up and going. But that being said, we appreciate you guys. Validated Florida. It's our first episode. Got a lot of shorts coming, a lot of content. So like, subscribe, share it, and I hope this helped you, inspire you, that you can build a boat. You can do it for not a lot of money. Once again, shout out to my friend Paul. I did not have this house when I started building this thing, or else I would have did it in one of these 2 garages. If it wasn't for Paul, I definitely wouldn't have been able to do it. I mean, it was a lot of late nights and stuff trying to hustle and get it done, but it was totally worth it. But anyway, I'm Jesse. This is Validated Florida, and we are out. See ya.